Om Shanti. Morning Murli, 10th September. Sweet letter of Bap Dada for sweet children. Essence, sweet children, come together and remove the roof of sorrow from this world of the Iron Age. Perform the charitable act of remembering the Father. Sweet children, come together and remove the roof of sorrow from this world of the Iron Age. Perform the charitable act of remembering the Father. Question: even though you children have the imperishable reward of knowledge, instead of accumulating in their account of charity, some of you finish that account. Why is that? Baba is asking, even though you children have the imperishable reward of knowledge, instead of accumulating in their account of charity, some of you finish that account. Why is this? Answer: because they commit sins in between performing the charitable acts. Even though they are enlightened souls, they become influenced by bad company and thereby commit sin. Due to committing those sins, their account of charity that they had previously accumulated is finished. Second, if after belonging to the Father, a soul is hurt by the vice of lust and lets go of the Father's hand, that soul becomes even more sinful than before. Such ones defame the name of the clan. They experience very severe punishment. They experience very severe punishment because they defame the Satguru. They cannot reach a high destination. Om Shanti. The spiritual father has a heart-to-heart conversation with you spiritual children. You souls understand that only our Father is the one unlimited Father. You children have understood this. The destination is liberation and liberation in life. In order to receive liberation, the pilgrimage of remembrance is absolutely essential, and it is absolutely essential to know the beginning, the middle, and end of the creation to attain liberation in life. Both are very easy. The cycle of the world, that of 84 births, continues to rotate. So it should remain in the intellects of you children that our cycle of 84 births is now coming to an end. We now have to return home. No one can return home yet because all souls are sinful. Sinful souls cannot go into liberation or liberation in life. So you should have such thoughts. Those who do something will receive the return of that and remain happy. You will also be able to take others into happiness. You children have to have the mercy of showing others the path. You have to explain. You souls have now changed from Sato Pradhan to Tamo Pradhan, and this is why you are not able to return home. They even call out, "O purifier." You children understand that it is now the most auspicious confluence age. Some are able to remember this very well, whereas others are not able to remember. They repeatedly forget. If you remember the confluence age, your mercury of happiness remains very high. When you remember the Father and the teacher too, your degree of happiness remains high. Some come across big obstacles in between, and others come across minor obstacles. Everyone comes across difficulties. Some climb up very high and then fall back down again. The stage of some is very good, and so they climb into Baba's heart. But when they fall again, all their income is finished. In the world outside, people give so much in donations and do so much charity in order to become charitable souls. However, if in between performing charitable acts, souls begin to perform sinful acts, they become sinful souls. So, your act of charity is to have remembrance of the Father. It is only by having remembrance that a soul becomes a charitable soul. When you forget the Father and become influenced by someone's company, then by committing a lot of sin, whatever charity you had performed is finished. Supposing someone gives a donation or performs charity today and opens a center but turns away tomorrow, he would then fall even lower than he was before because of committing sin. Therefore, instead of the account accumulating, it is wiped out. Previously, they did very good service. Don't even ask. However, later they fell right down. They even get married and become even worse than they were before. Once the sin is committed, the burden of that sin continues to increase. There is an account of profit and loss. However, those who want to understand these things will understand. There are light sins and there are also very heavy sins. The worst sin is all is lust. The worst sin of all is lust. Anger is second and greed less than that, and attachment is less again. They are all number wise. By being defeated by lust, instead of experiencing profit, souls go into loss because they defame the Satguru. Such souls cannot reach their destination. They climb down from the Baba's heart. They belong to the Father and then they leave the Father. It also depends on their actions. It also depends on their actions. What is the reason for their leaving? Because they were not able to follow. Mostly it is lust that hits them the hardest. That is the main enemy. Have you ever heard of an EFG of an angry person being burnt? No, the EFG is created of one who is lustful, and it is Ravan. The Father says, by conquering lust, you will become the conquerors of the world. You have been completely defeated, so instead of being victorious, you are defeated. They call out to the Father, O purifier, come. It is because of lust that people suffer a great deal, and then they say, Baba, I have made my face dirty. Baba says, you have become someone who defames the clan. This would not be said because of anger or attachment. Everything depends on lust. They call out, O purifier, come. The Father has come. And yet souls continue to become impure. And so what can the Father say? Everyone, Sikhs, holy men, etc. call out, O purifier, come. But no one understands the meaning of death. But no one understands the meaning of that. Yes, some actually believe that God will come and establish the new world. However, because they have given the cycle a very long duration, they have fallen into immense darkness. There is knowledge and ignorance. The Father explains that those on the path of devotion don't even know the one they worship. And so, what use is such devotion? Because they don't understand. Whatever they do is fruitless. Fruitless means unsuccessful. People think that fruit is received by making donation and performing charity, but that only happens for a temporary period. Temporary happiness, like the dropping of a crow, is received. Sannyasis too say that whatever happiness is received in this world, it is like the dropping of a crow, and that all the rest is sorrow. Nothing but sorrow. The Father says, remember me alone, and all your sorrow will be removed. The Father says, remember me alone, and all your sorrow will be removed. Just think, how much do I remember Baba, so that the old karmic accounts can be settled and new ones accumulated. However much someone accumulates, it is not a question in terms of money, etc. Here it is a question of removing sins. The main aspect is that of becoming pure. Don't think that by your writing to Baba about it, the sins of many births will be settled. There is a great burden of sins of many births. They will not all be cut away. They will not all be cut away, but yes, the burden of those that have been committed in this birth can be lightened. However, you do have to make a great deal of effort. The more you stay in remembrance, the more the burden of sin will be lightened. Some children make a lot of effort. They show the path to hundreds and thousands of people. They explain the cycle of 84 birth. You know what the account of the different birth is. Just think, how much yoga power do I have, and when will I take birth? Will it be at the beginning of the golden age? Those who make a lot of effort will take birth at the beginning of the golden age. Those souls will not remain hidden. Don't think that all of you will go to the golden age. Some will come at the end and claim a little something. Those who earn a great deal of income are the ones who come earlier. Those who earn less income come later on. And this is why you have to remember the Father a great deal. It is very easy. Those who remember Baba very well experience a great deal of happiness, knowing that they will very soon go to the new world. If you want to become a king, you have to create subjects. If you don't create subjects, how would you become a king? Some open a center and earn a lot of income through that. When there is benefit, they even open 2 or 3 centers. Baba also continues to open centers. The account of those who do something is created. So you have to come together to remove the roof of sorrow. You all put your shoulders together. And so you all receive your share to the extent you make effort. To that extent you claim a high status. So you will also experience a great deal of happiness. It is seen how many have been uplifted. Some continue to do very good service. Mama became the example of doing very good service, and she therefore experienced a great deal of benefit. The main thing is to do service. Yoga is also service. So you continue to receive directions on how to stay in remembrance. Baba has also explained the significance of the point, and as time goes by, he will continue to explain more. Day by day, progress will take place, new points will continue to emerge. It is not very difficult, but then it is not very easy either. Those who remain on service catch the points very quickly. But nothing sits in the intellect of those who don't remain busy doing service. They continue to say, Bindi, Bindi, point. But how do you remember a point? How can a point be seen? It is very easy. You don't have to remember Baba by keeping a point in front of you. This is something that has to be understood. Our soul is such a teeny point. No one else can tell you the name, form, land, or time of our soul. They ask what God's name, what's God form, land, and time period are. Senseless human beings neither understand about souls and nor the supreme soul. Here too, there are some who don't understand fully. They continue to say Baba, Baba, but they neither study knowledge nor do they do any service. They just continue to eat. Sannyasis also have such flowers who don't do anything but keep eating. At least they have become renunciates and freed themselves from vice. That is not a small thing. Baba explains that you were pure and that you have now become impure. You are the ones who have been around the cycle of 84 birth. People are unable to understand these things. Devotion is completely separate from knowledge. There is a difference of day and night. So you know that you have to make effort and become like Lakshmi and Narayan. And so you have to follow Shrimad completely. This requires effort and become like Lakshmi and Narayan. And so you have to follow Shrimad completely. So this requires effort. However, the sickness, etc., will continue to come. Sign of it will remain until the end. And it will then disappear, and no sorrow will remain at all. The Father is known as the remover of sorrow and the bestower of happiness. They say, O Liberator, have mercy on us, that we will become liberated from all sorrow. So it is at times of sorrow that human beings remember God. At a time of sorrow, everyone calls out, O God, O Rama. They remember God, but who is God? But who is God? No one understands this. They simply say, remember God, the Father, or remember Khuda, God. But you understand very well that He is our Father. The Father is one who teaches us, consider yourself to be souls and remember me. On the path of devotion, it is not said, consider yourself to be souls and remember the Father. No, there are so many different varieties of devotion, but there is only one knowledge. People think that they will meet God after performing devotion. When does devotion begin? And who does the most devotion? Baba is asking, when does devotion begins and who does the most devotion? No one knows this. Would we still continue to perform devotion for 40,000 years? For how long would devotion continue? You now understand for what length of time devotion continues and for what length of time knowledge continues. Devotees don't know these things. You hold so many exhibitions in order to explain to them, but only a handful out of multi-millions emerge from the exhibitions. As time goes by, more will emerge. So countless people come here. There are very few of you true Brahmins who remain pure, and only those who are regular should come here. However, we cannot make an accurate account of how many true Brahmins there are because there are also false ones. The task of Brahman is to relate stories. Task of Brahman priest is to relate stories. Baba also continue to relate stories. You too have to relate stories. As is the father, so the children. So the duty of you children is to relate the Gita, but not everyone does this. You know that the book of knowledge is just the one Gita. It is the jewel of all the scriptures. Everything is included in that. The Gita is the mother and father. The Father is the one who comes and grants salvation at all. So you can also write that the birth of Shiv Baba is like a diamond and that the birth of everyone else is as worthless as a shell. So everyone remembers the Father, and Iron Age human beings worship Golden Age deities. So who made them like that? Only the one Father. However, only those who understand this very well will be able to explain to others. But no one explains systematically. Baba says, instead of construction, many of children cause destruction. There are some who are Maharathis, some who are cavalry, and some who are infantry. What will those who are the infantry do? They will have to bow down and work for those who have studies. So, what would you call those who neither bow down in the front of others nor study or teach others? What would you call out? Baba is saying ostrich. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bap Dada. The spiritual father says Namaste to the spiritual children, and we spiritual children says Namaste, good morning to our sweetest spiritual father. Essence for Dharna. First, the father is a point. Understand this accurately and remember the father. Understand this accurately and remember the Father. Don't become confused and just say Bindi Bindi. Remain engaged in doing service. Second, listen to the true Gita and relate it to others. In order to become true Brahmins, remain pure and definitely study regularly. Today's blessing, feel Baba's hand on your head and take blessing. May you have the fortune of happiness and be carefree by constantly eating the nourishment of happiness and sharing it with others. May you have the fortune of happiness and be carefree by constantly eating the nourishment of happiness and sharing it with others. Baba is saying the nourishment of Brahman life is happiness. Those who constantly eat the nourishment of happiness and share it with others have the fortune of happiness. It constantly emerges from their hearts. So no one else is as fortunate as I am. Even if ocean waves come to drown you, you would not be worried because those who are Yog-yukt are always safe. Therefore, it is at this time of the whole cycle that you experience a carefree life. You will also be carefree in the golden age, but you would not have this knowledge there. You will also be carefree in the golden age, but you would not have this knowledge there. Slogan: in order to be an easy effort maker, fill yourself with everyone's blessing. In order to be an easy effort maker, fill yourself with everyone's blessings. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba.